The moment you say, "I'm sorry, but," you've already lost. Chapter 1. There is a phrase, 7 words, that the most powerful people in the world use instead of apologizing for their boundaries. It doesn't sound aggressive, it doesn't sound cold, but the moment you say it, the entire dynamic of the room shifts. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what it is and why most people will never use it. Chapter 2. Here's the truth nobody teaches you. Successful people don't have thicker skin. They don't fight harder. They don't even say no more often. They just say it differently. There's a psychology behind it, a science behind it, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Chapter 3. Why apologizing destroys your boundary. What if every time you apologized for a boundary, you were actually training people to ignore it? Research in behavioral psychology shows something uncomfortable. When you say, "I'm sorry, I can't make it," the other person's brain doesn't register the boundary, it registers guilt, your guilt. And guilt is the fastest signal that a boundary can be pushed. Think about it. Have you ever said sorry for something you had every right to do? Leave a party early, turn down extra work, say no to a favor, and the other person kept pushing? That wasn't them being rude. That was them responding to the signal you sent. The apology told them, this boundary is negotiable. Here's the scary part. The more you apologize, the less authority you have. Not in their eyes, in your own. Neuroscientists call it self-undermining verbal behavior. Every time you apologize for a healthy limit, your brain logs it as a threat it survived, which makes it harder to set that same limit next time. You're not protecting people's feelings. You're eroding your own foundation. So what do successful people say instead? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires something most people are terrified to do. Chapter 4. The psychology of the clean no. There is a reason certain people can say no and nobody argues with them. It's not confidence, it's not authority, it's clarity. Psychologists who study high performers, executives, elite athletes, top surgeons, found one pattern that separated them from everyone else when it came to boundaries. They never explained themselves. Not because they were arrogant, because they understood something deeply. An explanation is an invitation to negotiate. The moment you say, "I can't come because I have a family thing," the other person's brain starts calculating. How important is the family thing? Can it be moved? Could they come after? You handed them a thread, and they pulled it. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you set a boundary and someone respected it immediately? No pushback, no guilt trip, no follow-up question. What did you say? I'll bet it was short. The most powerful boundary phrase isn't an excuse. It isn't even an explanation. It's something most people are too afraid to use because it forces them to take full ownership. And that's where things get interesting. Chapter 5. What they actually say. Here it is. 7 words. That doesn't work for me. No sorry, no because, no explanation. Feel how that lands. It's not aggressive. It's not cold. It's just final. And that finality, that's what makes it powerful. The phrase works because it's entirely neutral. It doesn't assign blame. It doesn't make the other person wrong for asking. It simply states a fact about you. Here's what's wild. In a Stanford study on communication and boundary setting, people who used non-apologetic first-person boundary phrases were rated as more likable, not less, by the people they said no to, because humans respect clarity, even when they're disappointed by it. But here's what nobody tells you about this phrase. It's not just what you say, it's what you do in the 3 seconds after you say it. Most people say the boundary and then immediately fill the silence. That doesn't work for me, but maybe next week, or I could try to. Gone. Boundary dissolved. Successful people say the phrase, and then they stop talking. The silence isn't awkward. It's the boundary holding its shape. Chapter 6. The silence. Technique. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is the most powerful form of it. When elite negotiators, FBI hostage negotiators, top-tier lawyers, senior executives set a boundary, they use what communication experts call the hold. You state the boundary, you close your mouth. You let the discomfort sit with them, not with you. Most people panic in silence. They rush to fill it, to soften it, to apologize for it. High performers don't. They've trained themselves to be comfortable with the weight of their own words. Apologizing for a boundary isn't kindness, it's conflict avoidance dressed up as empathy. Real empathy says, I respect you enough to be honest with you. A fake apology says, I need you to not be uncomfortable because I can't handle your discomfort. Which one is actually serving the relationship? Now here's where it gets uncomfortable, because the real reason most people can't hold this silence, the real reason the apology slips out, has nothing to do with politeness. It has to do with one very specific fear. Chapter 7. The fear under the apology. The apology isn't about them. It was never about them. It's about the terror of being seen as difficult, of being abandoned, of someone being disappointed in you and you not being able to fix it. Psychologists call this the fawn response, a trauma-linked behavior where people instinctively appease others to avoid conflict. It's not weakness, it's a survival mechanism. But survival mechanisms built for childhood don't serve you in the boardroom, or the relationship, or the negotiation. Here's a question to sit with. Who taught you that your comfort mattered less than someone else's disappointment? Because that belief didn't come from nowhere, and until you find it and name it, it will keep writing your sentences for you. So how do you actually rewire this? The answer comes from an unusual place, a study done not on CEOs or therapists, but on one of the most boundary-tested groups of humans on Earth. Chapter 8. Build tension toward climax. Elite military personnel, diplomatic negotiators, ER physicians. These people say no, clearly, firmly, without apology, dozens of times per day. To authority, to peers, to desperate people, and they don't break. The research found one thing in common. They had pre-decided. Before the moment of pressure, they had already decided what they would and would not do. The boundary wasn't reactive, it was a prior commitment. And a commitment to yourself doesn't require an apology. Chapter 9. Conclusion. Here's the payoff. The people who never apologize for their limits, they're not colder than you. They're more decided than you. They know what they stand for before anyone asks, so they never scramble, never over-explain, never shrink. The phrase isn't magic. That doesn't work for me. The silence isn't a tactic. The courage to hold that boundary, without explanation, without apology, that's the real upgrade. Not because it's comfortable, because it's honest. And people, even when they're disappointed, always respect honest. If you made it this far, you're the type of person who actually does the work. Comment decided below if this hit differently. And if you want to go deeper, the video on how elite lawyers say no without breaking bridges breaks down 3 more scripts word for word. It's right here. Subscribe if you want more of this. No fluff, just the real stuff.